Okay. It's been a couple weeks since I've made a video. There's probably a reason for that. I've just been so caught up with work and life in general. So I got new nails. Felt like being somewhat girly, even though I look like a fat cow right now, which is fine. I looked at pictures of myself from like yesterday, and I look horrid, and I just feel like super, super insecure. I've always been a little insecure about my self-image, and like, because I went through a phase of being overweight for my size. People are like, "Oh, you were never overweight." No, blah, blah. Like, no. If you want scroll back, like I posted, I usually post like throwbacks of like to a time where I went through this phase of I was depressed, I was eating too much, it was just a lot going on. That was like about a decade ago. Let's just say that. It all happened started like a decade ago, and I feel like it's starting to come back and reappear, and I'm not going to let that happen again. So, I'm just trying to control things right now. I just look like a frumpy, fat potato right now. I just don't look good in anything. But that's the point of why I'm getting into this video. Sorry. Whee. There we go. Somewhat better. Not really. Okay, I'm gonna just do without the fucking jacket because it's making me feel like a fat giant potato right now. Okay. That's a little bit better. Not really. But you can tell by my age that from the shirt. So, last time we talked, we were talking about the Bristol Dirt Race, which I absolutely despised and hated more than life itself. And how Kyle Busch backed into a win. And we all firmly believe that. And people still feel like he is like top dog and can win every single week. And like he hasn't really been a contender since his second, like I consider that his first championship because the second one didn't really count in my opinion, but that's just me. I am so sorry. But my thing is, we went through the ringer with Talladega, which it was tamer than most Dega races. Like there wasn't really a huge big one. There was like crashes here and there. It's just basically from blocking and stupid crap like that. And it's like, move on over. Ross Chastain wins again. Which didn't make any sense to me. But the Xfinity Series has been a little bit more exciting in my opinion, because the top story right now is Junior Motorsports and how well they've been doing this year. They've been like on a roll. They've been firing off like on all cylinders. Officially, they have 3 of their 4 drivers locked into the playoffs, and all 4 of them are are in the top 7 in points, like regular season points right now. And as a rookie, I don't expect Sam Mayer to win a race, but he's getting better as the season goes on. There's some days where I think he just shoots himself in the foot because of pit road. God, this hair. I just want my hair back. Cuckoo. That's his only downfall, really. But last handful of weeks, he's showing some speed. And Talladega, Noah Gragson my boy Noah pulled off the win. And I swear every win he has so far, he has 7 career wins on 7 different tracks. So on Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, Martinsville, Phoenix. Don't tell me. I can't freaking remember. Richmond? I want to say Richmond. No, Darlington for sure. I want to say Richmond, but I feel like that's wrong. But either way, he's been firing off really well. He has like 5 stage wins as of yesterday. Yesterday. I can't keep track. And so he's firing on all cylinders, leading laps. He finished second to Allgaier. Allgaier finally snapped his 34 race winless streak. So I'm happy for him. Someone said like he's like the most boring average driver ever. I don't know why people are so happy for him to win. Like it's like the same. You're like the same people who say Chase has no personality when low key he is a savage and will talk shit to the media without really talking shit to the media. He gives them attitude without really giving them attitude. And it's awesome because this season he just feels like people are just aggravating him on purpose. The media is. Like Bob Pockers made a stupid like question towards him. Not made, but gave a stupid question towards him about the Cody Ware incident. It's like, Jason's response was like, there's no actual big drama here. You're the one who brought it here. He's like, he got into Bob Pockers' like, shit, like, because honestly, he's there just to stir. I know the media's just there to stir up shit, but he's the one who instigates more drama than there actually is. The Cody Ware thing, it was just a thing. There was no rivalry. It's just Cody Ware being a privileged little punk ass bitch who thinks he deserves all the respect in the world for just being on track. Ugh, this freaking hair, dude. I can't with this hair. I'm gonna go change my hat. Give me 1 second. That's really not any better, but I still look like a fat cow. But either way, till I get my hair back, this is just how it's gonna be. I'm just gonna look like a fat cow. And my ears I'm just super stressed out. What was I getting at? Yeah, the Cody Ware thing. It's like, that was just a little blimp in Chase's radar. He doesn't really give a shit. And then recently at Dover, Chase broke his winless streak from last July, and on an oval since 2020. Dover has always been one of his strongest tracks just because of the setup with Alan Gustafson and like Jeff Gordon and all that. Chase has now 2 wins at Dover. His first win there was his second career win back in 2018 when he was starting to fire off. He beat Denny Hamlin that race. This one was a little different because he actually drove away from the field the last 30, 40 laps, something about that. Who does? The fact my mom even had a Hooters cup amazes me. Dover was actually a decent race. It was actually really good. I had a lot of tire issues. It was just a hodgepodge of things that went on in that race. Like, Denny Hamlin screwed himself, not himself, but his crew basically screwed him. On a pit stop, I think it was like the final stage or in stage 2. I can't remember what stage it was. his tire just went like by, like passed him on off of pit road, and so he lost his crew chief and I think the tire changer for like 4 weeks, and one other team crew chief and stuff got suspended as well. It's like pit road was kind of here and there with people. Like the real not game changer, but the thing that really solidified Chase's like win was when Bowman and Busch, who I think were the top cars, I believe that day, like midway through, like were the top dogs, like to like battle it out for the win because you know how much they get along from the back didn't win bullshit. And they both pitted, and then the caution came out while they were on pit road, so they lost track position, not much, but they lost track position. So there was like a battle between Ross Chastain of all people and Chase, and Ross Chastain was holding hard, like battling hard with Chase on a few restarts, and Chase finally got the best of him and just took off. And because people don't realize, like people like will claim like, oh, Chase cheats and the HMS cheats and they have him in their back pocket and all this nonsense. Like people realize Hendrick Motorsports has 14 championships and nearly 300, close to 300 Cup Series wins. They don't get there by just riding around the back. And Chase, since the start of his Cup career, has been very good at Dover. I think eight or nine top 5 finishes. I think it was like 8. 9 top 5 finishes, I think. One of those two. And 2 wins. Kitty, what are you doing? Stop. So a bunch of laps there, and he won a playoff race there for his second career win in 2018. Besides like 2 instances where it's like engine blew and like 2 instances where he didn't finish the race, he had issues. His average finish has been like the best of pretty much anyone in the field. Going into it was like 4.33. Without those 2 like DNFs or whatever you want to call them, because that was something that he could not control whatsoever. But people keep making all these accusations that they cheated and how he had tape on the grill, and I'm like, realize people who were not working for Chevy or like not associated with Hendrick at all said that was not even slapped onto the grill. It came off of the track, and it was like it was basically like a clump of tape or like debris, whatever, that got onto his grill. And if anything, that would have destroyed the handling of his car and made him worse. But he still ended up driving away from the field by like a couple seconds, at least 2.5 seconds, from Ricky Stenhouse frickin' Jr. It's one of his better tracks. He's been like slowly creeping in there. People like can make jokes about him and like say he crashes people, like blah blah blah, but he really doesn't. So I don't really understand where they get that from. But he snuck in there, got a top 2 finish. That's like one of his better races this year, to be perfectly honest. And there was a lot of comers and goers in that race, but Chase finally broke through and got his win, and then the media started running their mouth again. Oh, Lord. The 2 questions that they asked in a row that were basically the same exact question about, like, the dynamic at the shop, because he hasn't won yet. Like, all of his teammates have won. Like, all these races, like, over the last year or so, like, in less than a year or so, since July till now, and like what the dynamic is around the shop and what it feels like break that winless streak. Like, and haven't won on the oval since 2020. Like, we get it. Like, they kept pushing and pushing the issue, and Chase just had it fucking enough. Like I get you guys trying to do your job, and I appreciate that. Like, I respect that. I won't say appreciate, but he respects that. But it's like my desire to win and need or desire to win does not ever change week in and week out, no matter how good we're running or if we're in a contract year, whatever, like, or what my teammates are doing. We're focused on this team and this team alone, and we want to win from the time we get to Daytona, where no one has stickers on their car all the way through, no matter what happens, to Phoenix, regardless of what happens, like in between that. And then at the end, he's like, with a savage tone, like savagery tone, he's like, did that answer your question? And I'm like, oh. It's like, people just like to push the issue on anything. The media has gotten worse this year because they're trying to find a story and edge any way they can. Like, they try to push a story with the Larson and Chase thing, which I still feel is bullshit because Larson acts like a piece of shit teammate. He doesn't act like a teammate, but he just acts like he's top dog. And people feel like, oh, he's top dog this year. And I'm like, since when? Is he at top of the leaderboard right now in points? Does he have the most top tens? Tied for the most top tens with Kyle Busch right now? Yeah, you guys both have wins this season, but he has more points. He doesn't have... his one poor finish was the result of Larson at Auto Club, the dipshit that he is. He finished like 26th or whatever, a lap down, because of Larson. And his other bad finish, I won't say bad, but like less than preferred finish, is 15th. And, which doesn't bother me, but either way, he has no DNFs this season so far. Has a win. Like, yeah, the top fives are not there, but it's like he has 2 top fives in 10, 11 races. But he's been consistent. People are like, but Willie B's like has 2 wins and shit like that. But he has DNFs. The DNFs for like Blaney and William Byron and Larson and whatever. Like, Larson went through a streak like for a few races, handful of races, where he was not finishing these races or was getting shitty finishes. Like, it started like in Phoenix and then like one after the other after that. So that's why he's not top dog. He hasn't ever been top dog at Hendrick. The fuck? Well, but he has a championship from like, yeah, he's the reigning champion, but that doesn't mean jack shit in the current season. There's gonna be a different champion every single year. If you can't figure that out, there's been a no repeat champion since Jimmy Johnson. Since his 5 straight. No one ever is going to repeat. Just guarantee there's no repeat with this kind of format. And and then Dover Xfinity, Josh Berry beat out, who did he beat out? It's one of his teammates. I can't remember if it was Allgaier or... No, I can't remember. It's one of his teammates. I know that for a fact. And Merrick got... but, like, JRM has been on a roll. They've won 3 straight from Talladega, Dover, and to yesterday. 3 different drivers. So they've been, like, the team to beat. Like, and... Chase was supposed to run yesterday, but NASCAR's fucking owner points fucking rules. He couldn't because the 88 hasn't had enough points to qualify because weather permitting canceled qualifying after he made a qualifying lap. Like 16 drivers qualified and he couldn't get into the field because they were like 39th in owners' points. And the one time they ran the 88 was Dale Jr., and he finished 11th at Martinsville. So, what is that? Either way, that kind of annoyed me. I really want JRM to give him like a makeup race if they're courteous enough for that. Because if he was scheduled for a race and they didn't give it, like NASCAR like scratched him from the race completely, then JRM should be getting something in to Chase in return, because that's just fucking bullshit to bring that car all to the track, qualify, practice, whatever, and then not be able to race. It's stupid as hell. But his teammates get 2 shots in that car a piece, while Chase only gets 1. That doesn't make any sense. And this is the track where Chase needs the most practice, most seat time, and then put more salt on the wound, gasoline onto the fire. Chase destroyed his car in practice in the Cup Series, and he had a beautiful throwback like Jimmy Means from like 93, and 93. Gorgeous Napa car, gorgeous, like the blue and yellow, it was gorgeous, and tore it to pieces during practice because he didn't realize he had a flat tire until he was going into the corner and he couldn't save it, so he smacked and destroyed the car. So they go to a backup, and the only backup that these teams have, the top teams have available, and people are like, why don't they have more backups? I'm like, you gotta realize this is a brand new spanking new car. They're not gonna have like 10 backups on hand just in case every single person on the team wrecks or destroys their car. They're trying to work out the kinks in this car. Like by next season, you'll have probably at least 2 backups per team, not just 1. I know 1 is not ideal. Like William Byron had to go to a backup last week at Dover, and then he finished 15th or whatever. I think, I don't remember. And now Chase has to go to a backup, and they did the partial throwback wrap on the sides of it, and left the hood and the top and the back all white, which I think that looks really cool. So I'm made a suggestion make it look like his Snowball Derby car from last year, all white with the yellow number and the sponsor on the car, the hood of the car. I would have loved that, but they did partial white, and then basically what they did with Byron last week at Dover. So he has to start the rear of the field. Now Hamlin has to start the rear of the field, and Harvick, because all of them had issues, which is funny because all of them do not like each other. I still firmly believe that. So I don't like Darlington all that much. It's not because it's my driver's least desirable track or performance wise track. That's not my reasoning. I just don't understand why I don't like it. It's just something about it that just drives me nuts. Yes, Chase won on this track 8 years ago, but that was 8 years ago, and things were totally different. And he was in the Xfinity Series, and he won back-to-back races from Texas to Darlington. And he had, I want to say, fresh tires. He went from 6th to 1st in about a lap and a half. So, beating out Cup drivers like Harvick, Dale Jr., Kyle Busch, and all these other guys. So, it's not like he can't run well there. It's just in the Cup, it's been a little bit of a struggle bus. Especially on these smaller tracks, it's harder to pass for some reason. unless you have a really good car, it's going to be super hard to pass, as always. So that's just how I feel about Darlington. And the throwbacks, like, there's not as many throwbacks as I thought there were going to be. Like, there's a lot of teams that are not even doing throwbacks, which doesn't make sense. People are bitching about still about the numbers and crap like that. I think the best schemes are always going to be on Hendrick, because Bowman has a Mark Martin scheme from the early 90s, like the Valvoline colors. Oh, it's beautiful. And then, of course, the Jeff Gordon throwback with the flames. That's my childhood right there. Hold on, I think I have that car. Like, this is one of my first ever, like, die-cast. Like, this is basically what Byron is running, like, with the flames. And it's like my all-time favorite Jeff Gordon scheme. Like, you have no... I got this in 2006. So, yeah. And it was a Monte Carlo. A Chevy Monte Carlo. So, that's one of my favorites right there, just for sentimental reasons. I grew up watching and loving that car. So in the Cup Series, like, since Bristol, we've had Chastain win, Chase. So it just looks like a Toyota's gonna win this race, but they've been super inconsistent with their speed and their handling. Like, what, they have, what, 2 wins total, and it came from Denny Hamlin, who's been having a shit season. From his 1 win, and then since then he has done nothing, literally nothing. Busch has been, like, consistently there. It just doesn't have the oomph to actually compete for the win. It's just from my standpoint. I'm just not like I'm hating on the guy. It's just Toyota in general has sucked this year. But speed wise, like at the track, like qualifying, shit like that, they came through on qualifying and practice. Like Bell was fast, Busch was fast. But 2 of the Penske guys came through on speed on qualifying. Logano took the pole. And Larson, is on the front row with Logano. I hope they take each other out. That'd be great. Because I despise both of them equally. So, one more than the other. But that's just me. And Chase has to start in the back of the field because he didn't be able to qualify. And Chase was irritated. And in the post-incident, like, practice interview, he was, like, super irritated and annoyed that he can't get a pit stall selection, and it's going to be crappy, and he has to work his way through the field and all that nonsense. So, I feel that. I feel it deep in my soul. But he's not alone. Harvick and Hamlin will be there to accompany him back in, like, 34th, 35th, there you go. So... it's just irritating, to say the least. But I want to talk about last week's qualifying. Like, the guy we never see, like, as relevant or, like, in the mix is Chris Buescher. He got the pole last week at Dover, which is his first career pole ever in the Cup Series, which is wild to me. And him and Denny Hamlin were on the front row, and Hamlin had a shitty day altogether. And Buescher, I think, finished in the top 10. If I recall, he had an up and down day, but he was pretty solid for most of the day. Keselowski came and went. Harvick was in the top 10. Chastain. Of course, Chase won. Ricky Stenhouse was just a shocker to me. But either way, it was a decent race. I wasn't home to watch the end of it. I was at the nail salon getting my nails done because the race got pushed to Monday because of rain, and people are bitching and moaning about start times based on it, and I'm like, that's not my problem. Start times literally mean nothing to me. Like, you start on time or you don't. But my thing is, big thing, tracks, all tracks need lights. Need them. Need. Every single one of them. There's no need to have that much money to be invested into a track and not have lights. Just for circumstances, just like Dover. People don't understand that rain comes when it comes. The rain doesn't give a shit what time the race starts. Starting it earlier doesn't make the rain not come at all. Like, oh, the race would have been over by now if we started like 2 hours early. I'm like, no, not really. We probably would still be running right now. 400 miles is still 400 miles, and that's a long ass fucking time. People seem to forget that. So, like, oh, we just need to make the West Coast people like get up earlier for races. I'm like, honey, no, we're not doing that. If you guys bitch and moan about having it start late, like it's starting later, then that's a you problem, not an us problem. West Coast gets what? We have Phoenix, Vegas, Auto Club, and Sonoma. 4 completely different tracks. Y'all get like a million of them on the East Coast. A lot of night races, which half the time I can't even fucking watch because this girl has to work. This girl has to sleep in order to go to work at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, those bitching were like, oh, I'm going to miss the race. And it's like, imagine, like, if the race got delayed and I couldn't watch it. Am I going to bitch about it? Not really. So, people are pushing and bitching and moaning about start times, and it's just, they complain about literally everything, so I don't know. Anyway, what was I getting at? I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, we started on Monday at 9 o'clock their time. No, our time. Yeah, 9 o'clock our time. And it ended in the early afternoon, like 1 o'clock-ish time frame. Like a little after 12. And I was sitting in the chair, like, get my toes done, just watching the race. I'm like, oh my god. And Chase finally won. I was like, yay. We don't have to hear the bitching and moaning from people not ever again, but for the time being. Thankfully for that, we're locked into the playoffs. We're leading in points by like 50 now over Blaney. As long as we stay ahead of Blaney. But Bowman and Bush are like right there in the top 5, so they can just pounce at any moment. And this is all I got to get to Bush. Squirrel. Him and his wife are expecting their second child via gestational carrier people. I'll get to that in a minute. Like any day now. So Trevor Bain, the guy that adore one life himself, is on standby for Bush this week and next week, just in case he has to like dip for the birth of his second child that they've been waiting on for what, 7, 8 years now. Like they've been battling hard for another child, and Samantha wanted a girl so bad, and they're finally getting her some point in the next week or so, within this next week. And people had ignorant comments regarding Samantha, and that really drives me nuts. Like, I don't like Bush in any way, shape, or form when it comes to his racing or his personality whatsoever on track, but when personal, like off track, he's one of the best dads there possibly could be. He's very involved with his son and his racing, and so is his mom, obviously. And this poor woman is like, not poor, but she deals with a thing called PCOS, where it's really hard to carry a baby like naturally, and it's just a hormonal thing basically. I'm no medical expert, but that's just what I think it is. Um, so she's been battling, like, she had, I think, a couple miscarriages through a couple tries of IVF. Um, and so their safest bet was to go a surrogate gestational carrier. Like, a surrogate is like someone who is carrying a baby that has like really no biological ties to the parents. Gestational carrier is like the egg and sperm together put inside someone else, basically, and they carry this baby that has no ties to the woman carrying the baby, and so realistically, it's their biological child. So people need to understand that a lot of women have a struggle with having kids naturally and like conceiving naturally. So, and I've read part of Samantha's book, and I want to keep reading it because it's actually really interesting to learn about PCOS and what it does to a woman's body. So I feel for her. It's a lot of heartache, and I watched her journey, and she and Bush, like Kyle, deserve the world when it comes to kids. I can't wait to see them with their little baby girl at the track, and it's gonna be awesome. So Trevor Bayne's on standby just in case for like this weekend, next weekend. Considering we haven't heard any news that Trevor Bayne's running today, Kyle will be running today, and most likely sometime this week the baby will come. A lot of people on social media that I follow like are having babies right around this time, so which is really weird. But I'm happy for them as a couple. They deserve every bit of happiness, even though I personally don't like Kyle on track. He's a damn good father. So people need to get that straight through their heads. People are like, well, I don't know how people can dislike Bush and Bo. I'm like, yeah, he can do great things and nice things for his fans and shit like that. But that doesn't change my opinion on his personality and stuff that he does on track or like during interviews and stuff like that. There's a difference between off track and on track shit. He's great with fans. That's not my issue. It's just the way he comes off during media interviews and just crying like a little bitch. Like, he's 37 years old. You would think he'd get a clue by now. But it's just, it is what it is. So, ahead of time, if the baby comes this week, congratulations to the Bushes, because they deserve it, and they've worked hard for so long to get this, have this child, and have this second baby. And I wish them all the best. So, Zane Smith just got engaged this past week, and I'm like, forever alone, yay! Not because of him, but it's like just everyone I feel like is getting engaged or having babies, getting married. It's like everyone's thriving. I'm like, I'm not trying to compare my life to people's accomplishments, but it's just, it can be really punch the gut a little bit. Like, all these people are like having all this success and good things happening with them. And I'm like, I'm having good things happening too. Like, I'm training for a new position at work, which is a little bit difficult because it's backing out trailers and stuff like that. And being a trucker's daughter, people expect me to pick it up super quick. And I'm like, I kind of am, but I'm not at the same time because I'm only 3 days into training. And my trainer's like, oh, what you're doing now is what some people are doing 3 weeks into training. So I'm kind of a few steps ahead in that case because I am my father's daughter. And I have him to get advice from when it comes to, because my dad's been a trucker for 22 years now. Ever since he retired from the military, he's been in trucking. And he's hopefully retiring this year in like the fall, like at the end of summer, beginning of fall. So I have a lot of backing. I have a lot of help on my side to get me better and where I should be. So it might take a few weeks, maybe shorter, so I can get qualified and start getting things going. Like I have a really good friend who's a switch, like in this position, and I can get advice from him, and just I know pretty much a lot of the people in this position that I'm going into. Hopefully, I can pass and certify myself, because there are a lot of things that are psyching me out. So, but either way, it's gonna be a pay raise and more hours, and I'm like super grateful for that, and to all the people who have been in my corner. I know I'm a lot to like handle, so I appreciate the patience. If you're watching this, I appreciate the patience with me, because I can be stubborn and be a perfectionist and shit like that. So to those helping me, thank you for your patience. But anyway, we're in back to racing, throwback weekend. And by the time I put up my next video after this, we'll know who won today. We already know Justin Allgaier won yesterday, much deserved, because he busted his ass to get it. And yeah. And next week, I think they're going to Kansas. I can't keep track. And then they have, I think, the All-Star race and whatever. I can't remember. The schedule keeps changing every year, and I can't remember shit. So, and also it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to my mom. I know I'm a pain in the ass, and I'm not a typical daughter, or child, I may add, as you can tell. I'm a stubborn piece of shit. Can be, but I'm determined. But my mom has taught me, pushed me in more ways than I can admit, in good ways. Because of her, I'm very good with handling my money, my finances. I'm very determined, strong-willed, stubborn, and just she gave me like my work ethic. Both my parents did, but my mom is very strong-willed, and I appreciate her for that. Our relationship isn't the greatest, but we're working on it, and it's getting way better. And no matter the case, I love my mom. She's helped me get this, not this stuff, but like my apartment. She helped me with my truck, just everything in between. She was a soccer mom for me and my sister, and just always been there when we need her. So couldn't live without her. And so all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I'm gonna go celebrate with my mom once she gets out of church. I was gonna go to church this morning, but I woke up and I was just like not having it. So, and I felt like dog doo doo. Just look wise, I just feel ugh, because of certain personal things. But this month, it's gonna be a good month. Personally, just like a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork, and it's really weird. It's just everything's going like a mile in a minute, but in a good way. So I hope everyone's having a great Sunday, whatever you may be doing. If you're celebrating Mother's Day or not. If you aren't, then you aren't. I got really nothing to say past that. If you are, spend as much time possible with your mom today, or if you can't, just wish her happy Mother's Day. Tell her how much you love her, appreciate her. If you have that kind of relationship, like if you have a healthy, solid relationship with your mother. If not, then you don't. But let's enjoy some racing today. It's going to be a struggle bus for Chase, but I feel like we can pull through a little bit. It's going to be a long one, but I feel like he can overcome adversity, because that's what this team does. Starting from the back is not a death sentence. So I'm going to get off so I can get laundry put away or whatever. I lost train of thought, but hope everyone has a great day, or great week, whatever you guys may be doing. Oh my God, the notifications on this thing. And if you don't follow me on TikTok, like I have 2 TikTok accounts, but one I'm trying to grow a little bit because it's getting a little bit more traction than my main account. So if you just look me up, if you follow me, then you know about it already. So I've been just posting videos of race winners, just reviews, whatever. If not, whatever. It's not gonna make or break my day, but have a good day and enjoy your Sunday, whatever you may be doing. So peace out.